Mad. I'ma feed 5-4 fun, money making animal. Don't put me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ask Mad Show. I am Mad, your Duke of Tribal Kingdom, International Man of Leisure, the Caesar of the Universal Players, your secret agent man giving you the game on all things. You dig? I recently had some cool experiences, man. I went to this Legends Festival in Chicago. It had some quote-unquote legends there. You can't take away their legendary status. They was definitely legends in the building, you know what I'm saying? 2 Chainz was in the building. Fabulous was in the building. We was outside, so they was outside. The Locks, to me, the Locks had the best performance of the night. And then Busta Rhymes came and closed out the show. Very nice show, very nice, you know what I'm saying? It was cool, whatever, you know what I mean? A little bit surprised. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was a little bit surprised by some of the performance, like as far as like the effort, you know what I'm saying? And then like song selection. So I missed 2 Chainz performance, but I did see, you know what I'm saying, a platform post 2 Chainz. It looked like he was turned. He came out there, did his thing. I only called Fabulous, the Locks, and then Busta. And so Fab was the first person I saw, and I ain't gonna lie, like I love Fab, you know what I'm saying? Like on some real, like I listened to Fab since I was a shorty, and like Fab is one of them rapping rappers to me. Like if you listen to Fab, you can learn how to rap extremely well just listening to Fab, because he got bars, but Fab do got songs just for the females. He got female joints, and I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, you expect that. Like I expected to hear some of them songs, but I didn't expect all his songs to be just for them. Like he did Breathe, but let's be real. Like we like Breathe, everybody like Breathe, but you ain't going to see Fabulous just to hear Breathe. You going to hear some stuff from the Soul tapes. You going to go hear some stuff from Summertime Shootouts. Like I even listen to some of his old stuff for Clue. You know, some of the Clue tapes. You know what I mean? The Freddie vs. Jason with him and Jada Kiss. I mean, Kiss was there, but Kiss did his thing with Styles and Sheik. And even just some of the other stuff that Fab has did, like even commercially, like Diamonds on My Damn Chain, like that's a commercial joint. You know what I'm saying? And it's older, but he was doing stuff for the day ones. He didn't do I'm a Rider, I Can't Deny It, like off his first album. It's like he was talking about day ones, but he wasn't playing like day one stuff. It was just more so like old. And I don't know who picked the set list, him, the DJ, I don't know. And I ain't gonna bap. You New York DJs. Let me just talk to you New York DJs for a second. Now, I understand that Chicago DJs, they go to other cities and they play that whole, what's the soundbite? This Chicago. I guarantee you they do it. Ferris, Amaris, Nathis, like whatever Chicago DJ that actually go around doing festivals and shows, I'm sure they all play that soundbite. But you New York dudes, man, y'all came and y'all was really representing New York. Now, I ain't mad at you for that. I'm not. You just, I don't know, like, it wasn't resonating. And I think y'all be thinking that it's going to resonate to people because we enjoy New York artists. And it's similar where people can come to America and they can enjoy American culture, but they may not particularly be so ingrained in it as we would assume they would be. So what I'm saying is, we can accept New York DJs coming through and, you know what I'm saying, pushing New York and being proud to be from Brooklyn, son. Like, y'all could be proud to be from where y'all from, but they wasn't in the building like that. Like, they was expecting New Yorkers to be in Chicago at the joint. And even a little faint, like, screams from the crowd of people who was, I'm not sure they didn't come with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure y'all got an entourage and people that came with y'all, so I'm not sure that they was even from the crib like that. And by it being this type of festival, you got out of town that's coming through, so it ain't no big deal. It's just y'all was on it like real heavy. Even like the artists, like I think Busta was probably the most on that New York type of time. And I ain't gonna lie to you, like, just let me just get back to the performances. Fab performance was dope. I like Fab performance. I wasn't feeling the song selection because they couldn't let me get in my Fab bag. Like, you listen to Fab for bars and you want to rap along, I assume, because I don't go to concerts. I don't do concerts. I'm notorious for never going to concerts, festivals, nothing of the sort. That ain't my style. I don't like it because I perform. You You know what I'm saying? As an artist, it ain't about, and I hear people say, oh, man, you should be the main person going to concerts as an artist. How you gonna learn? You learn through trial and error. You don't learn watching somebody else do something. Because you still can't do what they can do. You shouldn't even try to do what they can do. If you watching another artist, mainstream, local, it don't matter. If you watching them and you start doing what they doing, you biting. So you're not going to watch them so they can influence you and you can imitate them, because that's biting. And that's one of the things that's frowned upon in hip hop is biting. You're not supposed to bite rhymes. You're not supposed to bite styles. And you shouldn't bite people's performance routines, because they've been doing this for however long they've been in the game. So this was a Legends Festival. These people have been doing it for 20, 30 years. Why would I start doing back-to-back like Styles and Kiss? You know what I'm saying? And then like a lot of y'all ain't even got no routine. Like I ain't gonna lie, Fab was just standing there rapping. It wasn't like Fab was doing a Humpty Hump dance. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't doing the Kid and Play. He wasn't crip walking. Fab wasn't doing nothing as far as his performance go that you could be like, oh, let me take notes on that. Let me take notes on that. You know what I'm saying? Like the little back and forth between the DJ, that's like I told you, these DJs is going crazy. So they doing all that. If you got a DJ on set with you, that's your DJ, they supposed to do that part. So again, that's nothing to write down unless you just trying to make sure you and your DJ got chemistry. But be honest, how many local artists or how many independent artists got their own DJ like that? To the point where you got a thing back and forth. No, a lot of people go to shows and the DJ is already there, paid for by the promoter or whoever is doing the event, and all you doing is telling them your set list of your songs, making sure they got the MP3s, you dig, or whether you emailed it to them, however you gave them the music, that's mainly what it is, and you gonna tell them something like, hey, in between the songs, let me say a little bit of woo-woo, and then I introduce it, and then you go. But y'all don't have no real back and forth. They not dropping the beat. They not doing none of that because they don't know your music. So again, why should an independent artist go and watch another artist, whether they be established or not, to try to take notes? You know what I'm saying? As far as crowd control, you can get that from watching them on TV. You know what I'm saying? Put your arms in the air, wave from side to side, all that. It's like, come on, yo. You know what I'm saying? That's just 101. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't even want to be performing if you don't know the basics of that. How basic is that to just say something to the crowd and get them to respond to you and do engagement, which they wasn't really doing, by the way. They wasn't really doing that. So again, it wasn't nothing to even take notes about. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not somebody that goes to concerts. My older brother invited me. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to go. But me personally, I don't go to that stuff. It don't resonate to me, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I enjoyed kicking it with my brother and his homeboy and whatnot, but as far as the performance, Fab, it was low energy, it was all girl songs, and it wasn't my time. It wasn't my time, and I ain't mad at that. I get it, I understand. You got to keep your female base engaged. You got to make sure that they showing up, make sure they attentive, but on some real, like, they showing up just to see you. They not really, they don't care. Like, what I was paying attention to, I saw a lot, and what I saw was the females don't really care what you saying. They don't care. So they not even paying attention like that. It's like more so the male participants is looking and waiting for a particular song. The women want a particular song, but that's so they can dance and jig, not so they can rap it. And so again, it's like, what's the balance? You know what I'm saying? So Fab was like, I give Fab a C for just super duper average, very, very much so a C. I can't give him a D because that means it was bad. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't what I wanted. So I can't give him a D. It was a C. The Locks, I give y'all a B+. I get a Locks a B+ because the Locks, they got all type of joints. You know what I'm saying? They had a healthy balance between the female songs and the songs for their hardcore male fans. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't like the beat switching. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go and see, what's that mog that's in Vegas, Frankie Valli? What's that other mog? Wayne Newton? You know what I'm saying? Or that mog that said, there she was, just a walking down the street singing do it. You don't want to hear do-I-diddy-diddy-dum-diddy-do, and they start playing a whole nother beat. All of a sudden, Leonard Skinner beat come on, and you singing do-I-diddy-do to Leonard Skinner. That don't make sense to me. So the Locks kept doing this thing where they'll start the song with the original beat, and by the second verse or mid-verse or whatever, the beat changed, and they rap into a whole nother beat. And it's like, yo, homie, I didn't come for that. I ain't mad at you. I feel you. You've been rapping the same song for 30 years, but check this here, man. That's what people want to see. again, if I'm taking notes as an artist to be like, oh, okay, I should do that. But I see everybody in the crowd disgruntled and they lose interest. So again, if I'm going to a show, it ain't just to see what to do. I guess it's also to see what not to do. Just do the song. Just do the song. You know what I'm saying? Do the song with the same beat that it always had. So I got to get a Locks of B+ for the fact that they did the songs that everybody wanted to hear. It's just they kept switching the beat and everything. But they was funny. You know what I'm saying? Their chemistry was definitely intact. They was having fun with the audience. Styles was on mushrooms and edibles and every other drug that he enjoys. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Styles. You know what I'm saying? Kiss was funny. Low key, Kiss was up there cracking jokes. Like, I heard Kiss is funny. Like, I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kiss was up there telling jokes. And then Sheik was showing love. Like, Sheik was just real. You could tell Sheik was happy to be there. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying Styles wasn't, but Styles, you know what I'm saying? Styles decided to get high, and that's what he do. I get high off your melody. You know what I'm saying? So it fit. It was on brand. You know what I'm saying? It was just the beat switching. That's why they got a B+. Busta is a little bit trickier because Busta didn't do beat switches. Busta did the songs that people expected. Don't just make my people wanna. You know what I'm saying? He did touch it. But I ain't gonna lie. Busta, when you on the radio or your music video is playing, we can hear everything clearly because it was made in the studio. It was mixed right. It was mastered perfect. When you on stage, homie, and when you do the get low, Bus, we can't hear you, homie. Maybe you can hear yourself because you know you saying it, but the sound system wasn't picking you up. So we couldn't hear nothing until you said, turn it up. And by the time you turned it up, you started getting choppy. It's like, is this nigga squeaking? Is he squalling? What is that, a bird call? I ain't gonna lie to you, Busta. If people don't already know the song, don't nobody know what you saying. I ain't mad at you. I'm just saying you should probably, and then I ain't gonna bout. The ladies, the females are so happy to see Busta. This one lady, I guess she was screaming for him to do a song that she wanted to hear. And Busta kept telling her to shut the F up. I ain't gonna, like the first time it was kind of funny, but he kept doing it. And I'm like, yo, I done seen video clips of Busta doing that to the crowd, especially like the women. And I ain't gonna lie to you, that's your bread and butter. Like the women, they love y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see why he was like, shut the F up with her and like real, like, I do what I want to do. I do the song, I ain't no jukebox. Like, bro, why you so defensive and hostile and aggressive? Just, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to do the songs for the ladies as you claim, you did the Janet Jackson joint, the Mariah Carey joint. So it's like, this is for the ladies. Fellas, chill out. We're going to get to y'all. So if you doing it for the ladies and the lady saying something, why you telling her to shut the F up, homie? It's like, just be like, hey, baby, be cool. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get to you. Woo out the band. Woo. You know what I'm saying? Sprinkle a little game on her. You know what I mean? He just went ham on Shorty. Like, so that was my weekend. Decent weekend, man. Went to the Legends Festival in Chicago. And I got to give Busta just a beat. Because he was hype. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I couldn't hear everything. When you could hear him, it was choppy. You couldn't understand him. And then he was like telling the women to shut the F up. It just went a little too... It got a little crazy. Spliff is cool. Spliff style is always cool. Holding Busta down, and you know, probably one of the most next to Flavor Flav, like one of the most. I don't know how do you say it, like consistent hype men who really down for the main artist. Like you got to give Spliff Stars credit. You know what I'm saying? So Busta got a regular B for Busta, whatever. The Locks B+. Fab got a C. I didn't see 2 Chainz, but from what I saw, 2 Chainz could have potentially got an A. Potentially, but I didn't see it, so I can't really grade it, you know. But being that this is the Ask Mad show, I got a question. I got a question to ask. And this question is based off of a lot of things that I see in society, a lot of real things that you will have some sort of clicheism that people believe and they speak it, they repeat it, but don't nobody really truly break it down to the smallest denomination, right? Break it down to molecules and atoms. And that question is, who are the real haves and have-nots? Like, who are the real haves and have-nots? When they say the haves versus the have-nots, who are they talking about? Versus who actually is that? Now, does that involve money, which is what most people would classify the haves and have-nots, has to do with who has more money and who don't, who has resources and who don't. And Elon Musk just became a trillionaire, right? Congratulations, I guess, to Elon Musk for having $1 trillion. But my question is, why? Why do you need $1 trillion, Elon Musk, in order to do what? Let's get a picture of Elon Musk up here. Let's get a picture of Elon Musk and let's see what $1 trillion face look like. That's $1 trillion face. Look at this person. That's $1 trillion Elon Musk face. Now, I don't know. He appears to. Is that what the haves and have-nots look like? Him looking like that, and he has $1 trillion. Does that make him a have? And since I don't have $1 trillion, I don't have nothing close to $1 trillion. I ain't got nothing close to $1 million. That would make me a have-not as comparative to Elon Musk, right? But is that true necessarily? Like, I know how I work. I know how I earn money. What do you have to do to get $1 trillion, right? Like, what do you have to do to get $1 trillion? How do you get $1 trillion? Like, that's a real live question. Number one, why do you have $1 trillion? Number two, you got $1 trillion in order to do what? Number three, how did you get $1 trillion? Number four, who gave it to you? Number five, what businesses do you own? And how much are those businesses worth? Like, we know Elon Musk owns Tesla. We know he owns X, formerly Twitter. And I guess you can get $1 trillion from those two companies, but something tells me that that's not enough. That would tell me that you have like 100 billion, maybe. Like however many billion, because I thought $1 billion was a big deal. Like now we're just throwing numbers around. They say, I guess men lie, women lie, numbers don't. That's not true because now numbers are meaningless. Numbers are just code. We got algorithms, we got, the internet, we got code, and now numbers are just literally that. So what is money? Money is just numbers on a piece of paper. It's not even real. Just like people are not real, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going into another lane. Let me just stick with this $1 trillion man, Elon Musk, and he represents the haves, and maybe I represent the have-nots, but I'm not so sure that's concrete. I'm not so sure that that's the actual logic. I think it's emotional. I think it's a little bit of mental manipulation because you have to answer all those questions that I ask. You know what I'm saying? Why do you have $1 trillion? Why would you even want $1 trillion? In order to do what? What you gonna do with $1 trillion? What you gonna do with $1 trillion that you can't do with $1 million? I mean, maybe in today's world, $1 million ain't a lot of money. That's what people say, right? It's not a lot of money. A lot of people got $1 million. If you ain't got one, you're a loser, apparently. So how about $1 billion? Let's just go all the way up. Like $1 billion. Jay-Z's a billionaire. Jeff Bezos, billionaire. Dr. Dre, billionaire. Puffy was a billionaire. Kanye West, billionaire. Oprah's a billionaire. All these people got $1 billion. Everybody's a billionaire. And if you know the disparity between $1 billion and $1 trillion, that's a lot. For him to have $1 trillion, I have to ask the question, how did you get $1 trillion? How did anybody get $1 trillion, right? It's not through business. It's definitely not through a service or manufacturing a product that people buy. You own Tesla. That's a product that people buy. People drive around in Teslas, but it ain't all of society riding around in Tesla. They still trying to convince people to buy electrical vehicles. The price of gas is up because oil and all of this, and the Strait of Hormuz is closed in the war with Iran. But in the midst of all this, Elon Musk has managed to become a trillionaire, but nobody is showing exactly how that's done. He has government contracts. I get it. So the government gave it to him, right? Because even with Twitter, I don't pay for a Twitter account. I don't. And I guess advertisers pay to have ads on Twitter, but I mean, you don't even really see that many ads on the feed like that. If you're scrolling down your Twitter feed, you don't see very many ads like that. And even the ads that you do see, you bypass them up. It doesn't stop you from doing what you want to do on X just because it's an ad there. So I don't even understand how ad revenue works on X. I don't even know if you can spend money to do an ad yourself on X. I never even tried to. I know Meta, Facebook, Instagram, you can do that. I know Google, YouTube, and whatnot, you can do ads and whatnot. But does the fella who owned Google a trillionaire? What about the fella who owns Meta? That's what's the boy? Zuckerberg. He's not a trillionaire. He's a billionaire. They say he got $1 billion, and everybody's on Facebook and Instagram, and now he got Threads, which is in competition with Twitter or X, right? So, I mean, if you got Facebook and Instagram, that's twice the traffic than just Twitter alone, I would presume. I don't know the numbers on that. Maybe somebody can give me the numbers on that, but you would assume that since he has 2 platforms, that those are generating more revenue than one platform. Yeah. Doesn't 2 beat 1? I guess sometimes, maybe, unless the one is more valuable than the 2 put together. I can understand that, because you could put me with however many different people, or you can put however many people against just little old me, and I'm still going to be worth more, still going to be more valuable, right? So maybe it ain't a quality thing. Maybe it's not quantity. Maybe it's quality. Yeah. Maybe it's quantity. Maybe it's quality. Could be either one. I'm not so sure, but I think these are very important questions if we're going to say that the haves and the have-nots is something that involves money. But what if it's not money, right? What if we change the criteria a little bit? What if it's about strength, courage, integrity, those intangible things, right? Where it has nothing to do with your wealth, status, has everything to do with physicality, has everything to do with personality, character, if you will. What if the haves and have-nots are separated by who's the strongest versus who's the weakest? And if you possess a certain sort of amount of physical strength, you can be categorized as a have. And now if that's the case, Elon Musk and his $1 trillion ain't worth nothing. It ain't worth spit. If you're doing the haves and the have-nots based on physical strength, he pales in comparison to somebody like what? The Rock. Now, he has more money than The Rock, but is he stronger than The Rock? The Rock got muscles on his head, man. The back of his head look like hot dogs with muscles on them. You know what I'm saying? So what they got to do with it? Or what about somebody who has a lot of courage? Not saying that Elon Musk ain't courageous, but how do you even measure courage? You know what I'm saying? What's the metric to measure and to determine who has more courage? What about integrity? Same thing. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is I think that the haves and have-nots isn't necessarily just about who got the most money. It has to do with genetics and genetic makeup and potential, not necessarily systems in place. Because we can look at the haves as people who have favor within the system, which is why you're able to generate $1 billion or $1 trillion, is because the system is supporting you. The system you have favor with the system. So again, that's even a tricky subject, because if you have favor with the system, then that means there's a handicap. So you still wouldn't be part of the haves. You would be the have-nots, because it's set up and arranged for you to have this, and it's set up and arranged for some to not have that. Does that make you better than them because you get assistance from the system? I don't think so, because you can't stand on your own. If this is supposed to be a merit-based society, yeah, and everybody's talking about meritocracy, no DEI, we don't want people to be given things just because of the color of their skin or just because they come from a poor neighborhood. We want it to be based upon the fact that you are qualified to have it. What qualifies Elon Musk to have $1 trillion? I'm curious. What qualifies any of these people to have the enormous amount of wealth that they got? Bestowed upon them by who? Because it ain't people. It ain't the everyday working man. It ain't the everyday working mother. It ain't the everyday person that's walking around in society trying to find out where their next meal gonna come from. If you was living on such a shortened budget, right, where you have to budget everything that you do, and everything at the grocery store is expensive, and gas is $6-7, how do you have money, or how can you afford to support these people who claim to be billionaires and trillionaires, and they're quote unquote businessmen? They're business people. They have businesses that you are patronizing. But how do you know which business is theirs? Somebody like Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq, Shaq got a whole bunch of businesses. He talk about it. He's in all these commercials. And even Shaq, with all the work that he do on ESPN or whatever that show is, TNT, like, he do all these things. He own all these companies, his shoe brand itself. And Shaq is not a trillionaire. I don't even think he's a multi-billionaire. I think he's a multi-millionaire. But we can look at Shaq's businesses and see that. Same thing with Jay-Z. It's like, how do you have $1 billion? Who gave it to you? Whose money is that? Because for all intents and purposes, I don't see your business scaling to that degree in which I can track it. So I would like for people to show me that if you can. Pull up a chart or something. You dig what I'm saying? Show me how these people have billions of dollars, let alone $1 trillion. Show me how. And then I'll accept it. I'm not going to fight against it. I just want to know, how did you get it? And who gave it to you? Because I have a opinion on the matter. Yeah, I got an opinion. I don't think Elon Musk has $1 trillion at all. I don't think there's a single person in this world who has $1 trillion, because how can you hope to keep it? Especially if everybody know you got it. Why should people who are starving allow you to have $1 trillion and patronize whatever businesses you're supposed allegedly have? In order for you to keep having $1 trillion, if not more than $1 trillion, and for them to be starving and hungry, fighting over scraps. I just went to a Legends festival. Legends implies that these is a bunch of old niggas doing songs that they've been doing for 20, 30 years. And maybe a couple of them have $1 million, but guess what? Somebody gave it to them, and it ain't the people who paid for a ticket. Elon Musk don't go on tour. He don't perform. Yeah, I don't even know about public speaking engagements, because who wants to listen to Elon Musk talk? You ever heard him talk? He rambles. He stammers. His speech is jumbled. It's not even coherent. He's so smart, he doesn't even make sense. Word. You could be so smart that you don't make sense. You fall for that. You know what I'm saying? I've seen Elon Musk talk to Joe Rogan, and it's a snooze fest. He ain't talking about nothing intelligible. He tries to sound intelligent. But even when you hear a lot of his opinions about segregation, and he comes from an apartheid state, mind you. So he's not necessarily for the people. He's not a man of the people. So where did his money come from? Because he's not a man of the people. He wants to implant microchips into people. He wants you to have a robotic arm just for no reason, so you can jack off at supersonic speed. Because it's a lot of porn on Twitter. So I guess you got a mechanical arm to jack off at supersonic speed. That don't give you $1 trillion though. Because ain't nobody got no supersonic bionic arm. What a bionic arm, people. What is a $6 million man? Yeah, big man. Where's that person at who got robotic arms that can, leap tall buildings in a single bound because of the advancements made by Elon Musk? Elon Musk has not changed society in one shape, form, or another. And if you doubt me, I challenge you to find something that he did so influential that people stopped doing something else in favor of what Elon Musk said do. There's not a single thing you can point to where Elon Musk was a man of the people, nor was he so influential that people stopped doing one thing and started doing another. Eazy-E is more influential than Elon Musk. We should get Eazy-E $1 trillion because Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, it's really Cube, but Eazy was the face of it. You know what I'm saying? Cube wrote the rhymes, but they needed Eazy. Because Eazy represented everything that they was talking about in the music. And guess what? People stopped listening to X-Clan. They stopped rocking dashikis and what's that Afrocentric medallions and all that. They stopped all that. They went to, what's Dickies, curls and whatnot. They was doing that type of time. You know what I'm saying? NWA came into hip-hop and changed everything. But not just musically. They changed the community. Changed the way people was relating to one another through their soundtrack. Elon Musk ain't changed nothing close to that. He ain't changed the way we speak to each other. He ain't changed the way we treat each other. He hasn't changed anything in terms of how we do business with each other. If he's $1 trillion man, then he should be inspiring people in one way or another to do business, right? But ain't nobody looking up nothing that he did or done so that they could replicate that, because you don't know what he did. You don't know how he got it. You don't know who he got it from. Like I said, I got an opinion. I know who gave it to him. The same people who give everybody else money. The same people who give everybody else money who's got $1 billion and more, and we ain't buying none of their products. How did Oprah got $1 billion? Like, I remember at one point they was talking about how rich Oprah was and how rich Oprah is, and she's like that. She's that female staple that everybody points to for all women to try to imitate and emulate, but it's just impossible. They're not going to be able to do it because she didn't do it. All of this is smoke and mirrors. It's all fake. It's all synthetic. It's fabricated. You know what I'm saying? Like, You look at all these people, and I'm on this Elon Musk thing because I think that $1 trillion is just absurdity. Now they playing in our face with the absurdity of you thinking that the boogeyman is real, with you thinking that money is real. Money ain't real, people. That's why you can give somebody $1 trillion and it means nothing. It's something that people just say like it's a Snapple fact or something. You open up a Snapple and you read it. Elon Musk is the first trillionaire. Oh, no kidding. And you go back to drinking your delicious Snapple that you just got out the convenience store there. It means nothing to you. Your life hasn't changed a bit. For a man in society, especially in America, for a man in America to become a trillionaire, you would think that it would change the fabric of our society. Not like a millionaire or a billionaire. It's $1 trillion. Like the country is in $1 trillion worth of debt. There are countries who won't gross $1 trillion over the course of however many years because of their GOP or whatever that shit is called. The GDP, the gross domestic product, will not allow for them to have such an enormous amount of money. But this one man who shoots rockets off into space, who has an alleged ketamine addiction, who had a black eye at the White House, who got into it with Trump, who has a stupid car that people don't really like. They just drive Teslas to make themselves seem important. I care so much about the environment. It's the environment freaks. The same people who want to save the whales, you know what I'm saying? The same people who let their dogs lick them in the mouth. These are the people who drive Teslas, and a lot of niggas who just want to be better than everybody else. But honestly, man, I don't see anything that's influential to the point where everybody has a version of a Tesla. You don't even have copycats, homie. You don't even have nobody trying to replicate it in the manufacturing business. Do Ford got a version of the Tesla, man? Do Chevy? You know what I'm saying? If Mercedes and Lamborghini, Ferrari, the luxury brands, Rolls Royce, Bentley, they not coming out with a version of a Tesla. And these are some of the most lucrative brands that has ever been. I wonder if the guy who owns Lamborghini, Ferrari, and such, are they trillionaires? Because they got popular vehicles. You know what I'm saying? To the point where only the most affluent, aristocratic people could even afford them, which is why they price them out so much that their clientele is only the richest of the richest. Elon Musk doesn't drive a Tesla himself. I wonder if he can even drive. I think he's a man-child. I think he's a buffoon, an imbecile, and I think he's a mascot. I don't think he's smart at all. Because if you were really who you say you is, people would follow you, not be given Snapple facts by, like, who even told us Elon Musk was a trillionaire? Could somebody track down the person who reported this? Who was the person that decided to disclose this information? How he know? How she know? How they know? How do they know Elon Musk got $1 trillion? Why is he sharing his finances with people to that extent? Like when people try to tell me Drake is going to sign a $1 billion contract, how you know? How do you know? Who told you that? You heard it somewhere and you repeat it. You were fool enough to repeat it. Same thing with this Elon Musk thing. You heard it somewhere and you started repeating it. You repeated it so much that the next person said it and now it's something that's out here and it's fact. Supposedly, it's a fact. I don't believe it. Because I've traveled in this life of mine, man. I done been around all type of folk, you know? And one thing that always seems to occur with me when I go around different people is everybody's in awe of me. Again, who are the real haves and have-nots, man? Do you possess that kind of natural energy, man, where people are just infatuated with you? They're obsessed with you, man. They can't seem to get you off their mind. They just so obsessed with you that they want to be you, man. They want to cut off your skin. Like you said in Face Off, I want to cut his face off. And they want to be you, man. On some John Travolta, Nicolas Cage type of time, man. They want to swap realities. Who wants to swap realities with Elon Musk? This is a real question. I'm not talking about Leonardo DiCaprio here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about LeBron James. You know, I'm not talking about the people who are at the peak or who are the zenith of the industries or the respectable fields that they in, the realms that they control. You know what I'm saying? LeBron James in terms of basketball, Leonardo DiCaprio in terms of the acting world. How would you categorize Elon Musk and whatever his fame or stardom is related to? Is it intelligence? Is it? I don't know. Is it intelligence? Is it his ability to think and talk? Does that earn somebody $1 trillion because you're really, really smart? No, it don't. Just ask the people who come up with all the ideas that the people who are dumb take credit for. Because being intelligent doesn't make you a strong business asset. It doesn't give you a strong business mind. It just means you know that 2 + 2 is 4. Well, most of us know that. You may know a complex way to say it, but that doesn't earn you money just because you're smart. I learned that lesson watching The Wire. And now everybody loved The Wire. The Wire is a very popular TV series, man. And shout out to Michael B. Jordan because this involved his character. He was talking to the fella named D'Angelo, and he was eating some chicken Mac nuggets. Yeah, you heard me. They was eating chicken Mac nuggets. And he said, man, these nuggets is it, man. They was like, whoever came up with this, he got to be paid. And the D'Angelo character looked at him like, you think just because he came up with this that he get money? You think Ronald McDonald gonna sign him a check talking about here you go? No, that goes up the ladder. You decided to make the Mac Nuggets. Your boss went up and took it to their boss, and they took credit for it. They told Ronald McDonald, yeah, we're gonna cut the chicken up into little bitty pieces and we're gonna call them McNuggets. And they got paid. You got paid, but you got paid what you would have got paid had you not come up with it. It's your job to come up with shit just so the next person can get paid off what you came up with. You realize that, right? So if Elon Musk is the person that's coming up with everything, shooting rockets off, electric cars, Teslas, microchips, bionic jack-off arms, if he the one coming up with it, then who's the person that's getting the credit for it? Well, maybe he's the one that's getting credit for it, but who's the one coming up with it? Because we don't know enough about Elon Musk to just accept the fact that he's a trillionaire. I don't accept it. How about that? You could say I'm in denial. You could even say I'm stupid. You stupid because you don't believe what they said. Well, you can believe all they want. You can believe what they say all you want to. I don't believe it. I have no reason to believe it. And the only way I will believe it is if y'all break it down to me. Number one, how did he get $1 trillion? You know what I'm saying? Who gave it to him, right? What businesses do he own? And how much are those businesses worth? Show me that. Show me how much Tesla is worth. Show me how much Twitter X is worth. I know how much he bought it for. I think he bought it for $1 billion. There's a big disparity between $1 billion and $1 trillion, man. And you mean to tell me that since he purchased X, what it was like 2 years ago or something like that, since he bought it, it's generated that much money for him? I doubt it. I think he lost money buying X. I really believe that. I think he lost money because what is it for exactly? You bought it just because you can. But I don't even think the person that sold it to you had much of a choice. I think all of this stuff is really monopoly, yo. It's really monopoly, and you in the game, whether you like it or not. You on the board, but you're not a real player. You are like atmosphere. You are just attached to the board itself. You're not the car. You're not the shoe. You're not the hat. What's the other little pieces on the board? We want to play Monopoly. I think it's a gun is one of them. You're not none of those pieces. You're just a part of the board. You have been absorbed into the fabric of the board, whatever that is. And they playing on top of your ass, period. That's it. That's all. It's nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Because in my opinion, how do I say this? Y'all are weak. That's why you're not a real player in the game. It's because you're weak. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not so sure you should have dominion. I'm not so sure you should have autonomy because of how weak you are. If you want to give it to people like Elon Musk because they're the quote-unquote haves, even though I disagree. I think they're the have-nots, honestly, because the system is set up for them to win. And it's set up for the real haves to lose. And in some way or another, they have managed to survive even with the system being against them, even with the system helping out these people. And I have $1 trillion. I'm a trillionaire. That ain't really helped you to the point where you can affect change the way that you should be able to as a trillionaire. As a trillionaire, you should be able to affect so much change that the world changes. The whole world. You can't even change America. You can't even change Indiana or Wisconsin or something like that. Matter of fact, since you got $1 trillion, why don't you go to Minnesota and help out what's going on up there with all the fraud and Medicaid and the Somalians who done took over Minnesota? You take your white ass to Minnesota with your $1 trillion, Elon Musk, and you turn it back to the way it was before the Somalians took it. You dig? Or how about you go to Texas and do something there? Or maybe you could just come to one of the little suburbs here in Illinois and affect change. You not, because you can't. Because you don't have $1 trillion. That's something for the nerds, the dweebs, the geeks, and the retarded people who believe that to run around repeating it until it becomes fact. And I just ain't buying it because I'm smarter than the rest of y'all. And I got balls. You dig? Because I'm a part of the haves. You know what I'm saying? And I have intelligence. I have integrity. I have spirit. You dig? And I got game. To me, the haves and the have-nots revolves around those who got game and those who ain't. You either got game or you don't. And that's what make you a have and a have-not to me. Not just in my world, but in the world. Because what is that exactly? With game, your potential is limitless. You have unlimited potential as to what you can do, how you can affect change, and how you can make life not just better for you, but for those around you. That's what game entails. It's not just so selfish. You have to be it in order to get it, but once you got it, you're supposed to spread it. That's the whole point. But the game don't come for free. And if the game don't come for free, well, that's how you're going to get paid, man. That's how you're going to get paid. And so if you're getting paid without no game, my question is, who paid you? Where you get your money at? What game you in? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, with The Wire, right? I got to keep referencing The Wire. The character Randy was shooting. He wasn't shooting dice, but they were shooting dice in the alley. And so the teacher had just taught them the odds and probability, right? And so they taught them using dice. So he was like, man, I ain't got no money. What we going to do? So they see a little dice game going off. He got a little money with him. So at first they was like, hey, man, Shorty, what you doing? He was like, no, I got money. It was like, oh, okay, you in? And so he didn't shoot not nail dice, but he would just fade a dude or he wouldn't, you know what I'm saying, based on whatever his point was, because he was knowing the probability and what's the probability that you're going to roll a 6, a 7, woo, woo, woo. And so as they leave and they walking off with one nigga and he look at Randy, he say, oh, man, he say, where you get your game from? He say, Tillman Middle. He say, shit. He looked at the little nigga and said, where you get your game from? So that's what I'm saying to you, Elon Musk. Where you get your game from? You got it from middle school, high school, college? What college you went to? Went to MIT or something like that? They gave you game? Well, how many people done graduated from where you went to school that has generated $1 billion, $1 trillion? I doubt some of the people that you went to school with are even millionaires. I doubt it. And if they is, they not 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. They not. Like, even when you look at some of these moguls, yeah, it's because they did one deal or another, and they did a deal so big that the deal had generated them 600 million, 700 million, whatever. But again, I don't believe it. The numbers lie because you have to show it to me. You don't have to show me liquid. Just show me how much things are worth in your possession. The things that you own, how much are they worth? And who assesses worth, right? Who determines how much these things are worth? Who's the one that says, oh, this is worth that, that ain't worth this, this is worth, like, who are these people and why? Why do they get to assess worth? You know what I'm saying? I got a homeboy, Edu, he paint pictures and whatnot, right? And Edu is dope, paint dope pictures. I got them joints in my crib, you know what I'm saying? And when he was, like, he sold me some joints, right? So when I'm buying some joints, he was showing me the appraisal. And he was like, this is worth this and that's worth that. And I can't help but to ask, I mean, I accept how much they worth. I don't think you lie to me, but I want to know who assessed them and who decided that these, like, who appraised them and who decided that it's worth this and it's worth that. Who decides how much is worth? And do we just blindly accept it? How much is Tesla worth? How much is X worth? And why is it worth that much? And how can we properly appraise the value of these companies in order to say Elon Musk has generated $1 trillion of income? And how much of it should he keep? If I win the lottery, yeah, and let's say it's a Powerball, Mega Million, however many millions of dollars, guess what? Uncle Sam get a cut. They tax it. So if you get $1 trillion, how are they taxing you? Because how do you even get there to begin with? Which is why I don't think that you are there. I think it's all a lie. It's all illusion. It's the illusion of inclusion. The people who actually do have $1 trillion, they don't have it in dollars, you dummy. They have it in assets, whether it's paintings and whatnot. But again, who appraised this painting to be worth that? They have it in real estate, land. But again, who appraised the land and say it's worth that? I think money is a construct, just like race is a construct. Money is not real. That's why when people are owed money, they end up dead because you ain't getting it. And if you keep pushing the issue, you're going to get something else. A lot more than what you thought. So what's that about? It ain't real. It's not real. And the people who do believe it, y'all are the weak people. Just take it how it is. Y'all weak. And for some reason, people with the weakest willpower possess disdain for people with the most drive. You know what I'm saying? And I have no tolerance for you. I have no tolerance for you. I have no tolerance for your weakness because y'all allow these people to not only generate $1 trillion and look at you and you accept it, even though you starving, you hungry, you ain't got it. But the Epstein class is real, right? People who not only have the same association or affiliation with that fella, but reportedly had the same amount of money and their names was involved in the files and however many names were redacted. And so did they lie? Was it a lie by omission? Or are you just a weak individual and you know that all this exists and you just won't do nothing about it? But you'll do something or say something to somebody on a more smaller level, right? Somebody who you know personally who are doing things or doing well for themselves. You won't accept that they have generated or they've earned or achieved things that is relatively simple, relatively easy for anybody to really achieve. You won't accept that they've been able to do it, but you'll accept that Elon Musk is a trillionaire. You won't accept that the person that you know personally has done well for themselves without coming up with some justification for why they were able to do it. But you'll blindly accept that this person with this face and with this type of vernacular where he stammers, stutters, and doesn't really do coherent sentences. He just believes he's that smart, and y'all run around repeating it. I don't think so. And at one point, I was somebody who thought Elon Musk was smart because I heard he was smart. But all the stuff going on with Trump, Doge, and all of the stuff that he was doing and his alleged ketamine abuse, I don't know if that's true. I heard about it. I don't know if it's true. But what I'm saying is that doesn't tell me that he's a smart individual. But more glaringly than that, the thing that tell me he's not a smart individual is the fact that he doesn't change anything. He hasn't affected change in society. Nobody's so influenced by him that they're following his model. What even is the Elon Musk model? What even is that? You know what I'm saying? And him and his robotic type of way that he talk and associates and affiliates with people, and to the point where he wants to give you, you know, he wants to create humanoid people, some sort of hybrid person who has robotics and stuff like that. And it's funny because even if people don't have these physical detachments, mentally speaking, we're more calculated than we were. And with the advent of AI and AI being such a big part of everybody's life now, whether it's Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever it is, people are asking questions to AI and nobody's even thinking for themselves. But people yearn for this time of old, you know what I'm saying? And they don't realize that this paradoxical world we live in won't allow for anything to last longer than it's supposed to. Nothing is going to last longer than it's actually supposed to last because things are constantly moving, things are constantly changing. That's how you even get a person who's a trillionaire. At one point, there was no such thing. Nobody would ever thought that a person could be a trillionaire. If you were a millionaire at one point in this country, people were like, oh my, like that person's a millionaire, that person got $1 million. You know what I'm saying? And the study of the dark triad and dark tetrad philosophy, it calls for people to be less social and more strategic. You know what I'm saying? And our society now is just a big old cloud of strategy, cold, calculated men and women who are more futuristic and emotionally sensitive, right? Emotionally sensitive people are more so confused than ever, and they starting to become relics. And that's not necessarily with my generation or the generation before me. It's more so with the newer generations coming up where they don't have these quote unquote emotional attachments to everything. And a person like Elon Musk would be somebody that they would know of. But again, he's not influencing even the younger kids, whether that's Gen Z or Gen Alpha. I don't hear none of them running around talking about Elon Musk and how they want to pattern themselves after this fella. I don't see it. And so with that being said, and the way that people are and how things are changing and people's association with each other are even changing. You know what I'm saying? That so much so that you have something called the expensive friend. I saw this video on Twitter, coincidentally, on X, about the expensive friend. I want to watch this video and see if people can relate, because it's no longer about how people are emotionally feeling about one another. It's really now, it's like, it's about how people are relating to each other based on what they have going on in their life. It's very much, it's not personal at all. It's rather selfish. So let's check this video out if we can about the expensive friend. See what's up with that.
Your most expensive friends cost you nothing, and your cheapest friends will always cost you everything. Your expensive friend has standards. She doesn't say yes to everything. She doesn't show up everywhere. She doesn't just wear whatever off the sale rack and wear terrible fabrics and wear terrible clothing because it's trending. She has a signature style. She knows what she likes to eat and where she likes to eat it. She knows where she wants to vacation. She might come off as a little annoying at times because she says no a lot before she says yes. She also is not comfortable with you bringing randos into the inner circle because she protects her energy at all costs. She doesn't like you putting her in situations where people will be in danger or there'll be random fights breaking out. Your cheap friends, they're always available. They will lower your standards so that they feel better. They will have you going on vacation and costing you more money because they suddenly don't have enough, and you're the one that's the problem, not them. They're the ones that bring problematic people into your circle, and you're wondering, who are they going to get in a fight with next? Are they going to start causing issues? Are we going to be on social media and I'm going to be in the background embarrassing myself? So expensive friends, they always protect their energy. They protect their standards. They know who they are. They have standards. They have signature styles and looks and fragrances. They have all of the things going for them. And yeah, at times they're super annoying because you're like, ooh, ease up a little bit. But your cheap friends, they will end up costing you everything, including your expensive friends that don't want to come around you anymore because you like to be nice to everybody. Cheap friendships are the most expensive things you will ever pay for. Choose wisely.
Look at that. That goes with what I'm saying. That people are moving more towards this. It's not cynicism. It's not pessimistic. It's very much so selfish, but it's less attached. It's not emotionally attached because everything that she's saying, a friend is a friend, right? I mean, that's how it used to be. There was no such thing as a expensive friend or a cheap friend. And even though all the same signs were there, all the same personality traits were there, this paradoxical world that we live in, people are the same, yet they're so different than they were in terms of how they associate. And people who have this sort of humanoid way of thinking already, because that's very cold. It's futuristic. It's calculated because to even break people down into expensive versus cheap, you know what I'm saying? And quote unquote, like I see people talking about monitoring spirits where people are monitoring your progress as if you're not a person, as if you are an experiment. And I believe that that's been a case with me where people are more so monitoring me rather than engaging with me, where they want to see what I'm going to do as opposed to actually involving themselves in what I do. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'm the expensive friend, because I'm also putting together all of these different things and I'm deciding whether or not I'm going to be around somebody with that same sort of criteria. It's like, okay, what you got going on versus what I got going on. Do I want to be a part of that? You know what I'm saying? Can you fit into what I got going on? Also, who do you got attached to you? It's so many people who I used to kick it with that I would love to still kick it with. The problem is the people that they attach to that I can't get with. I can't get with the people that you got attached to you and try to bring y'all into my world because they don't fit. You cool, but you got this attachment to them, which to me, you are the same as them. You're not the same as me because you don't really have an attachment with me because I don't really have attachment with anybody. What that lady was just describing, she doesn't have an attachment as the expensive friend, right? The cheap friend is the one with the attachment. And if that's the case, then who's the neutral party? Is it a either and, this or that? You know what I'm saying? Or is there a middle ground? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I don't necessarily think so. And it just goes to show the direction that people is really moving in. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if strategy and planning goes against natural programming? What if you're naturally not supposed to be so strategic with not just the people that you associate with? You're not supposed to be so strategic with life at all. Like, what if you're supposed to just do things naturally as they come? I believe at one point in this world, that's the way people oriented. Like, they orientated themselves based on whatever natural phenomenon was going on with them. Like, if you put so much effort into creating a perfect life only for it to lead to the same outcome, like, did that planning actually work? You know what I'm saying? You put so much into this strategy and things still ended up the same as they would have had you not done it. Now, what is that outcome? Is it death? I don't know. I'm not saying that We all know that death is the only guarantee, and no matter what you do in your life, you can rest assured that it will end at some point. But what if it's more nuanced than that? What if it's not actually death? What if it's where you end up? You did so much strategizing and planning that you still ended up a single parent. You know what I'm saying? You did so much strategizing and trying to make sure that things went a certain kind of way. You still ended up divorced. It's like, what if you naturally were just who you were? That wouldn't change where you ended up. It's paradoxical. It's just a question. Is there a major difference between those who give their all and those who don't give much of an effort? I don't know. I don't know if there's a major difference in outcome, that is, between somebody who's just trying, and somebody who's not trying at all. And if natural selection was real, and if these things actually mattered, those people would have died off by now. But their natural programming tells them to keep breeding with one another. You understand what I'm saying? That's their natural programming. Like, that's the original design. The original design is to be fruitful and multiply if you take it from a biblical standpoint. But naturally, everybody on the planet has sex, even those who are calculated, all the way down to those who are just complete buffoons and imbeciles. Animals have sex, dogs, like, that's a natural thing. No matter what, you're not going to be able to stop that. You can't plan and calculate your way, so much so that you don't procreate. And even if you do it, how does that look for you at the end? What does that result look like? Even somebody like Elon Musk, this supposed trillionaire, he got a bunch of baby mamas allegedly, from what I know. I don't think he's married or with these women, but he got kids with them. He procreates, but it's calculated. You know what I'm saying? It's not a natural thing that's taking place, yet the same outcome is there. As Elon Musk is so smart, why isn't he married and has babies with one woman? Had he not been so calculated and smart, or a trillionaire, he would have still winded up having a bunch of babies with different women. I think that's probably the most natural thing about it all. Like, that could explain why you still have poverty and suffering in the world. Is the fact that the natural programming is always going to supersede whatever synthetic, calculated, strategic thing that people want to implement. You know what I'm saying? You're still going to have suffering and poverty because you're not going to be able to do nothing to change that. You know what I'm saying? The world will always consist of the haves and the have-nots. And natural selection doesn't dictate that people who live in horrendous conditions are erased. What if it's actually the opposite? Like, what if natural selection is literally people who give the least effort? Seems natural, right? Like, we all know who these people are, too. The people who give the least amount of effort in everything. They don't overachieve. They don't go to college. They don't try to get the best jobs. You know what I'm saying? They don't go out and try to create Fortune 500 companies. They really do the least. And somehow they keep multiplying, so much so that you don't have another trillionaire. Elon Musk is not going to create another trillionaire, not through his genetics, nor through any sort of mentorship or programming that he can do. But the quote unquote have-nots, those who don't plan properly and those who don't strategize, they will create another person who do the same thing, who don't plan, who don't strategize. Like, the people who skip higher education or high school altogether, you know what I'm saying? Like, the people who don't hold regular employment, you know what I'm saying? Always in between jobs, you know what I'm saying? Or they got, scattered here and there, you know what I'm saying? Or they on government assistance. They don't work at all, you know what I'm saying? The people who are in third world countries are only in third world countries because countries like America and other European nations keep them that way through resource exploitation and extraction. But those people haven't died off. They have literal countries on their back doing everything that they can to make sure that natural selection, quote unquote, keeps them from multiplying, but they are still here because they're able to breed and procreate. And so if natural selection says that those with genetic traits best suited for the environment are more likely to survive, reproduce, and pass those traits on, then how are they able to survive if natural selection is real? You know what I'm saying? How are people able to survive and reproduce? You know what I'm saying? It has to be based on genetics. You know what I'm saying? How does $1 million help in that? How does $1 trillion help with genetics? It won't. It won't. Elon Musk can have $1 trillion. He's not going to create another trillionaire because natural selection has nothing to do with how smart you are, has nothing to do with how much you overachieve, has nothing to do with all of the work supposedly that you put in, because I still don't believe he's done all of these things in order to generate that much money. You know what I'm saying? These people who don't have $1 trillion manage to procreate without caution. You know what I'm saying? Guaranteeing their survival through lineage. Because I don't have kids. A person like me, I'm very cautious, you see. And nobody would consider me to be a half. Nobody would consider me to be somebody who's one of those halves. But I consider me to be somebody like that because I got the spirit in me. The game that's in me, the thing that's in my bloodline makes it to where I am a half. And amongst the halves, they're the have-nots when it comes to me, when I'm around. You know what I'm saying? And so the idea of starvation is a myth because food exists in nature. Like somebody who's managed to survive through their lineage and they're not dying of starvation, like it says a lot to me about what their genetic makeup is, which again, like I just said, what natural selection is what it's about. It's about those with genetic traits best suited for the environment are more likely to survive, reproduce, and pass those traits on. So you can't starve. You literally can't starve because food is in nature. If you hungry and you ain't got no food in your house, go outside and find something to eat. Real talk. It's growing somewhere because God put it on the planet for us to eat it, right? So it doesn't exist in nature and it doesn't exist in boardrooms. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go outside and you hungry, you can feed yourself. But if you hungry and you go into a boardroom, ain't no food in there. So that's not a part of natural selection, is it? You know what I'm saying? The most wealthy people can rely on the least wealthy to discover, collect, and prepare their meals. Because the most wealthy people ain't going outside and looking for food. That's what the people who have the least do. The people who are in boardrooms, they can't be bothered with such things. And so it doesn't explain to me how they get money because they're not the ones literally extracting the resources. Whether you in Africa or some other quote unquote third world country, the people who live there are the peoples in the diamond mines. They're the ones who are extracting resources that you use for the power of these devices that we use every day, not Elon Musk. So how does Elon Musk have $1 trillion when he's not doing any of the work to generate such? Well, they work for him. It's like, well, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? Like if you work for Amazon, you work for Jeff Bezos, it makes sense. He has a warehouse and smaller businesses are using his apparatus to get their product out to larger audiences. He's just a big middleman. That's all Amazon is. It's a middleman between a customer and a potential customer and a business who they wouldn't be able to reach otherwise. But even that is a farce, in my opinion. I don't think that earns you billions of dollars being this middleman person. I don't, unless you stealing. Like there has to be some great crime taking place for these people to generate all of this money. There's no way that it's going on because of physical labor or just because you're so smart. You managed to intelligently work your way up to $1 trillion. I just don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? It has to be these people who are the have-nots. It has to be these people who are, quote unquote, built for natural selection through their lineage, through the fact that they're breeding. You know what I'm saying? And when all else fails, when your intelligence fails you or this middleman apparatus that you created fails you, the natural instincts of the people will be the saving grace for the have-nots and for those who give the least effort. It will be their natural instincts. And who's relying on that? The same people who want you to believe that they have $1 trillion. They're relying on the people who have nothing. They're relying on the people who give the least amount of effort, not only to work for them, but to buy their products, to spend their money that they work so hard to get, even though they're the have-not. They don't have a lot, but they're all contributing to this pool or to, this resource or to this platform. So that the person who wants you to think he has $1 trillion, who doesn't go outside and do any of the work himself, who doesn't go into the warehouse, pack no boxes, doesn't move nothing around, they want you to believe that natural selection is about them and they are the future. This humanoid, robotic, supersonic jack-off arm of a person who's allegedly addicted to ketamine is the future. I don't believe that. Even if you tell me he has $1 trillion, I don't believe that that's going to influence or affect change to where he is the future. It will be the people who are on the bottom, the least of those, the have-nots, who will be the future, because they are the past. They are the present. They will continue to be so. It's like metaphysical. We always have been, and we always will be. They always looking for the origin of man. How did man start? Well, it started with Adam and Eve. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Because how can you conceive of such? With this planet being as old as it is, how can you just arbitrarily decide that there was a man named Adam who God created from, dirt or whatever, and he decided to create a woman for him out of his rib while he slept? It's like, do you understand how painful that would be? How could he sleep through that? And why not just make her out of dirt? Why did he have to make her of his rib? All these things that nobody can really make sense of. Yeah. No, we always have been and we always will be. And they can always steal or forcibly take what they want from somebody who's not prepared to defend against it. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know if Elon Musk is prepared to defend against somebody who could potentially take his $1 trillion. And if he actually had $1 trillion, why y'all ain't trying to take it? Everybody who out here robbing people who got $2 in their pocket, you know what I'm saying, robbing a dude because he got some jewelry or a nice car, you know what I'm saying, talking bad about him because he keeping his little money to himself and he ain't giving it to you so you can jag it off. But Elon Musk got $1 trillion. Why y'all ain't beating down his dough? Real talk, anybody that's ever asked anybody for anything and they told you no and you got mad at them for telling you no, for you asking them for something, go ask Elon Musk for it. Because he got $1 trillion. He got more than enough money to give all of us some money. Elon Musk got so much money, he can give everybody in the world $1 more than once. That's everybody in the world. That's how much money he got. Go ask him for some money, because everybody in the world ain't going to be able to ask him. You can. I bet you ain't even thought about it. You ain't even thought about it. You asking people who barely got enough money for themselves, who's struggling themselves, just because they appear to be in a position that's slightly better than yours. You asking them to give what they done worked hard for, who barely got. They not the haves. According to y'all, if it's about money, they also wanted to have nots. Just like you. And Elon Musk is this person with $1 trillion, and you ain't even thought to go ask him for none. You ain't even thought to get a band of merry men. Get together a band of merry men on some Robin Hood shit, and y'all go take his $1 trillion. Why don't y'all take from the rich and get to the poor? Why don't y'all do it? You think they told you the story of Robin Hood just so you can do it as a bedtime story? You think it's a bedtime story? No, why don't you actually do it? They make a new Robin Hood movie every other year. How many Robin Hood movies that came out in the last 10 years and y'all still just watching it eating popcorn? No, go steal from the rich and give to the poor. Don't kill the rich. Don't eat the rich. Just steal from them. They steal it from you. How you think Elon Musk got $1 trillion? He stole it if he got it. You know what I'm saying? If that is your real name. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't got no $1 trillion. He a lie. Y'all can believe that all you want to. I don't believe it. I need somebody to convince me that he has $1 trillion through who gave it to him, what his business is worth, and what does he own? And then I want you to be able to show me that's how he was able to accumulate $1 trillion for himself. At that point, I'll believe you. Yeah. Now, before we get up out of here, we got to talk about the New York Knicks. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. Like I told you, I was at the Legends Festival in Chicago. All the artists that came, except with the exception of 2 Chainz, was from New York. They wouldn't shut up about it. They wouldn't shut up about it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanted to make some noise for the New York Knicks because they from New York and they real excited about it. Well, as excited as y'all was to win, I saw a very disturbing video that I got to play because it's not cool for people to do certain things, man. It's really uncool, man. And these New York people, man, they really showed just how uncool they is, man. Let's watch this video of the New York Knicks fans. This is before they won, but let's watch this. The guy from San Antonio walking down the street with a Tim Duncan jersey on. He ain't even got a new jersey, man. He ain't got a Wemby jersey on, or what's that boy, Wembyana? He on the Tim Duncan jersey. Look how they beating on him in the street, man. They recording it and everything in the middle of New York City. They got the trumpets going in there. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Yeah. This is not respectable, New York. I see Cam and Mace, they had on their New York jerseys. Ben Stiller, Spike Lee, Nas, and Tracy Morgan was at the game in their New York attire. What's that white boy? Timothy Chalamet was going crazy with Kylie Jenner. ASAP Rocky was running around with Murder Mook. Like, everybody's very excited about New York Knicks winning. I'm not mad at them. Look at this poor fella. He got the run off. And look, they didn't kick the dude down. Come on, man. Come on, man. It can't be that bad, homie. It can't be that bad, homie. Why would y'all do that? See, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm from Chicago. And Chicago people, we violent, we rowdy, you know what I'm saying? But not like that. And there's some stupid people from Chicago too they'll fight you. Not just somebody walking down the street with a jersey on. If the Bulls won the finals against whoever they hate, because I'm not even sure that San Antonio and the Knicks got a rivalry like that. I know the Knicks and the Bulls do because of Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And whoever the Bulls got a rivalry with is because of Michael Jordan and his dominance in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? The Bulls 90s dynasty. The Bulls ran the 90s. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And this New York team winning this NBA Finals, again, congratulations to y'all. But y'all not finna repeat that. Y'all not finna win that shit. And y'all damn sure ain't gonna three-peat. This is not finna be the beginning of a new era because they gave y'all that. I know, just like I said, they gave Elon Musk $1 trillion. Whoever they is, we all know who they is. Like Khaled said, they don't want you to have a pool bigger than Kanye. We know who they is, yeah? The people that run everything. The people who is in Iran, the people who is at war and doing all these different things, the people who are influencing everybody to do what they want them to do. We know who they is. They decided that the New York Knicks was going to win this year. They decided that the NBA was going to be boring. They decided that they wasn't going to invest in people who have certain personalities and real talent. Same with the music business. They decided who get a deal. And so they decide who won the NBA Finals. New York, y'all ain't influenced that decision, and they see how y'all behaving. This is not champion caliber. You see what Golden State did when they won. Golden State Warriors had never won. Y'all ain't won since 1972. 72. And I think it was a reason why they stopped y'all from winning some more. Because they bestow upon whoever they want to win that. You got to have your act right. And Jalen Brunson, congratulations, Jalen Brunson. He's supposed to be the guy up there, but just like Elon Musk, how influential is these people that they talking about? Who wants to be like Jalen Brunson? Like, who wants to ball like that? I want to be like Mike. You know what I'm saying? They gave him a commercial. Cereal, put him on boxes of cereal, a shoe. You know what I'm saying? Before Mike, it was Magic. You know what I'm saying? After Mike, Shaq, Kobe, you know what I'm saying? They want to be like Kobe. You know what I'm saying? AI. They wanted to be like AI. AI never won a championship, but affected change to what everybody in the NBA got tattoos all over them. That's Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? The way the shorts was real big, wearing the big shorts, that's Allen Iverson. Sleeves on your arm to cover up his tattoos, that's Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? The braids, that's Allen Iverson. But they decided that he wasn't going to win. He made it to the finals and didn't win because they said he wasn't. You understand what I'm saying? So for them to say that the New York Knicks is the 2026 champions and Fat Joe running around talking about glizzies and everything, like, Joe, you got to relax. Fat Joe, you got to relax on the glizzy talk. We're exhausted from we get it, man. You like hot dogs. And we know what you referencing when you saying the glizzy. No, the glizzy. I had the big glizzy. We get it, homie. It's some sort of homoerotic thing you got going on. I ain't mad. I ain't judging you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Jadakiss is throwing flags and jumping over the couch. It's supposed to be funny. It's not. It's supposed to be funny. It's a glizzy. You don't understand. And then he got the one eye. Like, yo, that's who you got representing you, New York. And I mean, post Spike Lee been going to games for decades, and they finally won. So they paraded him through Brooklyn and everything. Congratulations, Spike Lee, Tracy Morgan. Yo, the Knicks, we New York. Congratulations to the Locks. Everybody that came to Chicago from New York, even Buster, you know what I'm saying? Fab had on the Bulls jersey. Fab came to Chicago with a Derrick Rose jersey, you know, even though the Knicks won. And what I'm saying is, I don't think y'all gonna win another one because of that behavior. I don't think they're gonna give y'all another one. And they shouldn't give y'all another one because y'all don't know how to act. Like Ice Cube said, niggas don't know how to act. Y'all don't know how to act, homie. And I'm not even sure that was the Black Americans doing all of that. But that's another story for another day. And so, before we get up out of here, man, I got to touch on one last thing, okay? One last thing. Folks, Jimmy the Weasel is at it again, okay? And this time, he is just being probably the worst, scummiest, weaseliest. Jimmy the Weasel is like these people I'm talking about, like the haves and the have-nots. If you're supposedly in a position of authority, yeah, then you will be considered a have, and the people who don't have the authority or who you have authority over will be the have-nots. But I'm not so sure that's the case with Jimmy the Weasel. Jimmy the Weasel is one of the have-nots because he ain't got no damn sense. And he has no decorum, Jimmy the Weasel. He has no restraint, Jimmy the Weasel. He has no integrity, Jimmy the Weasel. And there's no authenticity with Jimmy the Weasel. Jimmy the Weasel is a terrible person, yeah? And we've already covered Jimmy the Weasel here on this show. And Jimmy the Weasel is part of a trio. He is the lead of the trio. It's like Alvin and the Chipmunks. But it's Jimmy the Weasel, the Possum, and the Jackal, yeah? Jimmy the Weasel and the Bottom Feeders. Jimmy the Weasel and the Vermin. Jimmy the Weasel and the Vultures. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the Possum is trash. She is complete trash. She cannot fathom a genuine reaction, a genuine interaction with anybody. Everything the Possum do and say is just so disingenuous. It almost hurts her to say anything complimentary of anybody. Like if you know the type of person you get their attention, they say, what? It's like, damn, what's wrong with you? This person got your attention and you responded with what? It's like, you possum-faced turd, you know what I'm saying? And then you got the Jackal. She doesn't respond like the Possum, but she's always watching. She's ever present, the Jackal. And she's always looking and this and that and the other. And her eyes are piercing and her facial hair is grotesque. Yeah. And Jimmy the Weasel, he's always lingering about. He always has to linger about and see what everybody's doing. He's weaseling his way around, just being supremely nosy. And all three of them together will make your armpit hair itch. You know what I'm saying? Suddenly your armpits flare and there's an insatiable itch between it whenever you come in contact with Jimmy the Weasel, the Possum, and the Jackal. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm surrounded by idiots. You know what I'm saying? And they have a certain denomination, a color-coded denomination. And we're going to talk about that on one of the next shows. We're going to talk about the red people, the yellow people, the blue people, and the green people. But Jimmy the Weasel, we're watching you, man. And at some point, some got to give. We definitely going to have to put you on display. So, folks, be prepared to hear more stories about Jimmy the Weasel because I got the feeling like we ain't done with him just yet.